Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chooch back again. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. We gotta do some serious talk. First things first. I said we're not talking about some viral TikTok video. We're not talking about some management memo that nobody reads. We're talking the kind of stuff that some carriers might get on to talking about. Real carriers, hardcore carriers. Some with a lot of years experience, and some with years experience that's building his way up to that top pay grade. Going to be always doing his thing, always working hard, always up to something. A lot high energy people that do their work. That's what we're all about. And that's who we got on here with us today. And you don't really need an intro, because if you see that face, you know who he is. That's Mailman Nick. And everybody knows Mailman Nick. And if you don't know Mailman Nick, you need to subscribe to Mailman Nick. So with that, I want to just let Nick come in and say his usual thing. And then I'll keep talking a little bit, and then we'll have some questions for him. Nick, welcome aboard, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me on, Chooch. How we doing? It's Mailman Nick. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram. Don't treat me like a 204B over here. Don't treat us like 204Bs.
Never gets old.
Don't treat us like stunads over here. Give us a like, subscribe, and thanks for listening.
That's beautiful. And as always, what Nick and I say is on our own behalf. We don't speak on behalf of the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I said Nick taught me that well. And, again, to say, we got to follow rules, right? Everybody follow rules. Management's got to follow the rules. And, us carriers got to follow the rules. So, great. So it's great. It's great to talk to you again. We talked 2 times before, and it's been a minute. But I'd like to do this more often. I like to make sure that we can keep in touch. We always communicate through text here and there, to see what's going on inside of work, outside of work, the craziness, the good things, the bad things in between. But, the main thing is that me and this guy, we do 2 things. We work our asses off, and we eat like there's no tomorrow. We destroy any meal put in front of us with no regards whatsoever for human life. But part of the Ginzo culture, anyway. But anyways, all right. So let me just touch on what we're going to talk about for a minute here. And like I said, it's two carriers talking straight up here. Nick and I have talked with filters. Nick and I have talked with no filters. Like I said, we're going to be professional, but we're going to say what we have to say, because there's a lot going on, and there's a lot we got to hit on. And we're going to talk about everything from the ODL changes, crazy hours, the TikTok situation that's been floating around this postal world. And we're also going to talk about, doing things on the clock versus doing things off the clock, doing it smartly. And we're hearing about folks getting suspended, getting taken off the clock for these things. And I'm like, I kind of saw that coming, and I don't know why there's like this, blockage in people's heads to think like, oh, I can go to my job and do physical dancing and activities and stuff. I said, whether you're on the clock, whether you're on the break, you're in that uniform, you're in that vehicle, and you're doing anything besides handling mail or helping a customer, maybe
there's going to be repercussions.
There's going to be repercussions. Exactly. So, but, we'll get into all that, of course. And I said, I just want to point out, and Nick will relate to this very much. I want to make like a point to all the carriers mainly. All right. You ever notice how every time there's a new policy in the post office, it's always for the good of the postal service, quote unquote, but somehow it always ends up being more work for the carriers without fail. Now, you said 20 years, believe me, I know, but we got 6 years in at this point, bro?
5 years in December. So
okay. One way or another. Yeah, you said you get the concept. So what are we we're told to follow that M41. That's our policy book. Management has the M39. That's their book. And there's also the JCAM, the labor relations, all those things, all those rules put in place to stay professional, to follow standards. But the minute somebody doesn't want to follow something, then it becomes at management's discretion. Say like, we're all supposed to follow it, and we can't just snap our fingers and say, oh, well, we want to do it this way today because we're carriers. We can't do that. We have to continuously follow the protocol. But management sometimes more than often will take that protocol and jumble it up a little bit and change the dialogue according to whatever obviously benefits their side of things. So that's something that everyone can relate to, and I want that point to be commented on in the comments by anybody seeing this. So that's what we call double standards. That's what we call double standards. That's what's burning. That's what's burning people out. And you can't preach accountability from the top, right? If you want your workers to be accountable, but yet is it that complicated, folks? Am I right?
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Fantastic. Okay, then the ODL. All right, let's talk about like the work balance, the balanced workload. And that's where a question will come in for Nick. But to say like, is it getting better or is it getting worse? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's been getting worse because it's a new thing. It takes time to understand. Some people, regardless of how long they try and understand something, can't get the hang of it. And there's a thing called equitability, and it has to be closest to the next person as possible to keep everything balanced, keep everybody happy, and keep grievances from being filed, of course. So, but what do you have to combat that? The same people calling out, right? The same people, doing everything, a little bit more jumbled than the next person. And sometimes management, makes it seem like everything's under control, but then who's the person that's there on the front lines seemingly dealing with the same shit? There you go. Right. So it's funny though. It's like we got people getting disciplined probably for, say, like they did a 30-second TikTok video, but then there's people who are dropping a whole route and disappearing on a regular basis, and it's like, wrap your head around that. Who the 30-second TikTok might be getting more discipline than the person who is constantly not present at work, dropping whatever it may be. So another point to think of. So that's why this talk matters with me, with Nick, because he's not sugarcoating. I sure as shit ain't sugarcoating. And, we both have busy lives, but I mean, this is something that we'd like to be able to do, to come on and be informative, be real. This is
real life experiences being at the office.
Exactly. This is our future. This is our livelihood. We care about this, but we care about fair treatment. We care about decency, empathy. And we've both seen some ugly stuff in our own experience.
Ugly.
I'm just dwindling down with the word ugly. So grab your coffee, grab your lunch, whatever it may be at this time. It's going to be great conversation, talking honestly. We're talking change and what it means to do the job right. Clock in, go to work, do the job right, and still feel like the deck is stacked against you, even when you're doing those things right. That's another main point. So, Chooch here, Mailman Nick in the house. Let's get into it. I'm going to pull up my little line of questioning for you. All right. And we'll hit you with this question first here, Nick. All right. So, since the inception of the new ODL, have you seen a change for the better or the worse in terms of the hours?
So with the new overtime, it has where you can work your NS day and daily overtime, which is a pretty popular one in my office. A lot of people sign that because they could get off it and still be on the other one. Sure. So the other one is the daily overtime, where you could work overtime when you were there, but then you get your days off, which that's what I'm on. I like that a lot better. I'm so glad that they did that. Right. But I really don't see a difference, because after the first week of October, people get off because they're like, oh, management's putting me on a route that I don't like. Or
this is exactly what I was going to say. I knew you knew the deal, because we quietly have discussed it, but we got to let the people know, obviously. So So you have that first issue right there to say that was it understood completely by either side? Not really. It seemed like it was like, whoa, wait a minute, how does this all work? See, you understand it. I understand it. Currently, I am no overtime and I'm fine with doing the 8 hours. First time in 2 decades that I've ever had that opportunity to feel what it's like to have a 5 day work life. And I like it. I missed a couple dollars, but at the same time, Christmas time comes. I know I'll get some time in there. And, I was even thinking of like, up doing some DJing again, which would feel really good to get out and do. I'm a little grayer than I used to be, but I can still rock a party. So, so second part of that question now, call outs. Are you still experiencing the same exact amount of call outs with this new ODL implemented? And you're still working X amount of hours over your 5 day work week, correct?
Yeah. So, the same people are calling off, and I think a lot of carriers, even CCAs, are very smart, because I'll talk to CCAs in my office. They're like, oh, I got a cousin in this office, because they put them on to, getting FMLA, or, being off the day after payday, which is the biggest call off day in my office. The Saturday after payday is the biggest call off. It's the same every 2 weeks. But it's the same people calling off. They don't get disciplined for it. And my management plays favorites. So, like me, for example, they target me because they don't like me, but other carriers, they don't go after as much because for whatever reason, they're friends. It's kind of like high school a little bit. But, it's for 5 years, it's been a trend. Every year, I'm like, oh, overtime's being cut. And then the next week, we're working 12 hours. The other day, I worked over 12 hours. I had to go help a CCA. He still had like 40 packages left. But it's the same. My office is still the same, like toxic, environment with all the overtime and the call offs and people dropping routes. They don't know if certain carriers are even going to show up. They're like, "Oh, case set up," because we don't know if she's showing up. I'm like, what?
All right, so let me inject here. So let me. You're quite certain that people don't like you as the problem. That you're a problematic. You're maybe what they call a hostile work environment kind of person, or is it just that you exude so much confidence and you smile and file and you don't cop an attitude on the floor? Show yourself presentable. You're working busy streets. That's a hard city. You're doing some hard stepping. I know that you told me about when you changed over from last route to current route. So, you're finding things that you like about it, and you're seeing that drop day, you're seeing that your NS drop day, and we all have different words for it. So there's some good slid in there, but for the most part, it still represents the same chaos, the same call outs, and the same treatment, despite the fact that you're doing your thing. And I'll even say, I know you've had a rough 2025. We know each other off camera. We talk to each other. You've dealt with some loss. You've dealt with a lot of situations. We don't need to delve into any of them. Just to say that life throws things at you at any given point.
Life happens.
30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, whatever it may be. You could be here 2 seconds, something bad happens. You want that to be treated with understanding of, yes, I have to step away from my job for a minute, but I will be back in the same, hardcore worker I am, ready to get this money, and it's like you still feel like that there's some kind of bullseye on you, no matter how good you do or like how tragic a situation might be. And that's traditionally the post office. Like they can seemingly care less about your well-being, about your health, about, speaking in like a very friendly like manner, like we can do as carriers, like to say that I know they're against each other half the time. They're all talking against each other, so they can't even get on the same page with each other and communicate properly. So what do you think that's going to turn into when it comes to talking to your workers? Right, exactly why we're on here making this video.
Exactly, because that's what it is though, because when you know your rights and when you are a good carrier, like there was both, like for example, that situation where I worked over 12, I was instructed to go back out and help a CCA. So me and this other hardworking carrier said, okay, we're gonna go help him out. It's his first few weeks. We don't want him to die out there, you know what I mean? Because he had 40 packages left. So I said, okay, I'll go do it. But then my morning supervisor wanted to get me in trouble. Like, hey, we don't do that. I'm like, I was instructed. So then we got to file on her. Even, you know, there's other stuff in the background. We're going to try to get her on.
I was instructed. I would
exactly. If you know your rights and then they try to take away your rights or try to take away something of yours, then they're gonna, you know, not like you because you know your rights. They know they can't mess with you. So they're like, how do we get this guy? Oh, okay, I'm gonna make his life hell, give him the hard routes, and it's just that's the postal politics, unfortunately.
Bullseye. Very well said. Very well said. All right, so that's a good start there. So next question. Okay, how do you feel about the on the clock TikTok and now learning that repercussions and disciplinary actions are being taken? What's your take on seeing all that stuff?
So anybody watching this video, just know that we have a stand-up talk. It seems like once a year about the online presence and stuff like that. We're federal employees, so you got to carry yourself a certain way, and we're told not to film on the clock, even on your breaks and stuff, like with the logo and stuff like that. They say they're watching your LinkedIn, your TikTok and stuff. You know, just be presentable. If you're off the clock and you want to twerk, whatever, you know, you know, but at the end of the day, still carry
Describe
yourself.
What you mean by whatever. You know, what else?
We don't got to go.
Be more specific about it. Yeah. I said, take me back to Mailman Nick's old days.
My old days, yeah. Yeah, back in the day. But
yeah. that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, say that while it seems to be that these stand-up talks are being given and these policies are being read, and it should just more or less be common knowledge, regardless of how much social media and TikTok and all these different things are there. You got to know, like, you're on the clock and you're saying like very reprehensible stuff, and you're talking like you're cursing like a sailor, and you're showing the mail off sometimes. Like, I've seen such a wide range, you know, and it's like, I'm not on there to make videos. I'm on there to see what is happening with, like, yo, you are killing us in terms of the you know, the outlook of the future of the post office.
Right. It makes us look bad. It makes us look bad.
It's all about optics in this world, and about, like, you know, hey, we want to look good to the public. We want to look good to everyone. We want to look good at the negotiation table when we're looking for a contract. And exactly. Like, oh, look, they're shaking their asses and dancing and cursing. You think you're gonna get anything? You think you're gonna get anything better than that bullshit contract? No, fat chance. So
yeah, and that's the thing. We're trying to. We have so much bad press with the post office, like especially in my area too, because we have a lot of call-offs. People getting their mail late and stuff. I try to combat that with YouTube and also talking to people in my neighborhood. But you know, we got so much bad press. That's even worse. Like, oh, that's why I'm not getting my mail to 8 o'clock. This person is you know, dancing in the vehicle. You know, that makes us look terrible. But like I said, do what you want off the clock, like out of uniform, like, you know, just, you know, when you're in uniform, you're, you know, your representation of the post office, and, you know, act like it.
There you go. You got 24 hours in a day. You maybe, you know, if you're Nick, you work 12 of them usually. If you're me,
half the day is to work.
then you sleep for about 6, 7 if you're lucky, you know, and then you have a whole nother like 12, 13 to do whatever the hell you want, to take off the uniform, run around the house naked, whatever you want to do. But yeah, don't freaking, you know, do the postal stuff afterwards, you know, off the clock. And obviously speak with some degree of professionalism and show that you care about the work, and that it's not a hobby to you. And, like, you know, and you know, pissing and moaning about every nuance of, oh, the mail, you know, the red plums are all messed up. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yo, we know what we got to deal with in a day. And, you know, management is obviously there to, you know, unlock the door, open the door for you, give you your, you know, estimates, and give you your nonsensical DOIS numbers.
Yeah, BS under time, BS.
Yeah, BS under time, you know. But, you know, like I said, I know, like Nick, you know, that's a segue for me into another point to say that 12 hours. So, you know, you're going to be out there for a long time doing that long ass day. And I said, you have the option in your station to sign off for the no lunch sign off. And so you say, yeah, I move throughout my day. I'll snack here and there, but I don't like take my lunch because I signed that sheet, and that's fine. So many offices and stations do not have that option. So what happens? 6 hours passed, boom, 30 minutes shaved off. I can only imagine how much time is given back to management and how much money is given back to management by simply not taking the lunch breaks. And
got your breaks. Got to take your breaks.
You're not extending your day. You're not playing games. You're doing something that's, you know, you're told to do by your union if your union is present and, like, you know, and in your ear about it. But, like, you know, there might be like a feeling that somebody gets in their heads, they're like, oh, you know, management's always rushing me, and like I'm like, I don't want to. The hell with what management says. They can't do anything to you as long as you're doing your job right. Part of doing your job right is taking the breaks and taking the lunches. That's 50 minutes. If you give those back, you know, you're just shaving.
You gotta take your time, or your body's gonna take a toll if you're not taking your break. You gotta eat something.
You got it. So very, you know, very, very, very annoying thing that I have to constantly repeat. But, you know, again, I feel like people are starting to get it.
Especially for new people. I see, like, oh, I didn't even take a lunch today. Like, when I helped that new CCA last week, he was like, I didn't even eat a lunch. I was just so, and I'm like, you got to take your lunch. You got to take your breaks.
You got to stop. All right. So next question. So I feel and have seen so many double standards in the post office. Do you feel that there are major double standards that exist in our workplace? I know that's kind of an easy one, but I want to hear you say, like, you know, how I feel, and I'll tell you my points on it. Go ahead.
There's definitely double standards. Like I was saying earlier, there's management is allowed not to follow the rules or follow their own playbook, while carriers are meant to or told to be doing everything by the book. When, you know, management stuff could do whatever they want. They could violate the contract, Article 8s every day, and it's just not fair. But, you know, life isn't fair, but it's still, you know, it sucks to see that, you know, carriers are always getting punished for the double standards. It's always management gets benefits from the double standards, you know, when it comes to, you know, oh, you got undertime, or like, what? Like, it's just
comes out of thin air. And it's like, you know, I give the award-winning response every time. I said, if you have a problem with the way my route is being done or the times I'm showing, I am for you to follow me, to ride along with me, do whatever you want to do. I have nothing to hide. And you know how many times I've offered that up and it never happens?
They don't. They're lazy. That's why they got the management.
No, it's that. It might be that too, but I'm going to say what I believe is that they know the truth. They know the truth, but they can't admit it. They can't admit it. You know, so all you can do, like I said, is keep your cool, let your work do the talking, and if it turns into something that you feel is becoming personal or targeted, you know, you have steps to take. You know, I said they give you a PDI or something like that, and you respond back with a grievance to say, I felt that was very, you know, against the grain of the M39 and the M41, that it was questions and answers that, you know, were trying to be jumbled into something that didn't exist in the first place. Or, you know, I'm following the policy. I follow the order. Who's questioning you about what you're doing right now? Nobody, you know? And that's, you know, it's like, so what do you want? So what's the response? Do I join management so I can turn into that? Hell no, never. Not in a million years.
The dark side, as people say in my office, that's going to the dark side.
I said the difference I say is that anytime I get into anything, you know, with, you know, I try to avoid any confrontations. I hate getting into stuff with people.
Yeah, I just want to do your job and go home at the end of the day.
But the main line I say is, I said, I know I ain't great, but I know I'm better than that. That's the best thing you can tell yourself every day, you know? All right. So good answer on that one, as always. Next one. Now we'll taper off into maybe some of the more fun stuff, you know, so we don't have to just keep talking about postal stuff. All right. So recently you said you've been tackling a few more home cooked meals while you're going out. Like Nick has like a 53-man roster of, but it's not a football roster. It's a list of restaurants that looks like a 53-man roster. And I'm like, yo, and he's just crossing them off one by one. He's putting his videos. The man can eat, and he's making me feel like mad that I just can't hit that metabolism level anymore at 45. But I'm trying. I'm trying to keep up with this guy. All right, so tell me about some of these home cooked meals. What kind of dishes are you having, and what's coming up in 2026 for you?
So, my girl is a really good cook. So, she'll tell me while I'm on the route, she'll, say, hey, I'm going to cook some chicken Alfredo. I'm going to cook because she cooks a lot of soul food, chicken Alfredo. She cooks, sweet potatoes. She had chicken soup the other day. She's cooked me neck bones. What else?
I got a nice variety going here. We went from chicken Alfredo to neck bones. Look at this.
Always some cornbread in there. So
I'll put 5 pounds of cornbread down and then wash it down with a chicken Alfredo. No problem.
And she makes it taste like a dessert, the cornbread. So I always save that for last.
It's like cake.
What else does she make? Because she.
Yeah, give me two more good ones. Yeah, two more good ones.
What else does she cook? What did we have that last week? Mostly just like pasta dishes and soul food, like broccoli. She always has a side of broccoli. I get my greens in. And she has a good mac and cheese too. A really good mac and cheese.
There you go. That's the magic word there. That just makes anybody's day when you get a good mac and cheese. Yeah, the broccoli's nice. There's always a good amount of steamed broccoli. I said the other night, I had that broccolini. Broccoli Rob, broccolini. I said broccoli sandwiches. Whatever it takes. That's good stuff. I said, I remember I passed on my meatball recipe to you, and I said, I know with all the crazy times and busyness, you have to be able to get a hold of beef, veal, and pork all in one because that's the way I make them. So I said,
I know you haven't made it yet.
I know you get around to it. I wasn't busting chops. I said, gee, Nick, I gave you this recipe like 7 years ago. Where's the meatball?
You're biggest procrastinator. I'm the biggest procrastinator.
I see. All you see is Snuff eating meatballs all day. I'm expecting you to eat some meatballs. Yeah?
I'm a bed bug.
But you're a bed bug if you don't make Chooch's meatballs. Now, listen, that's it's great to have a little bit of home cooked food. It's great to be able to go out. And, I've kept a close eye on everything you do, man. And I can reference Rick and Benny's and that sandwich I want to try so bad. I can reference Palermo's.
Palermo.
What that is. I think that when it comes to burgers, you showed me that Au Cheval and then Au Cheval 2 or Au Cheval Mini. Whoa.
Small
Cheval, right? And then that freaking, you got those Culvers, and that pisses me off. We don't have the Culvers anywhere near me. I'm going to try one of them butter burgers.
Not in Philly. They have them off every highway out here.
Yeah, like a Roy Rogers off a highway here. You ever had a Roy Rogers? They actually brought back a Roy Rogers to Jersey, and it's supposed to be and it's the full-on sit-down place. That was like a legendary place in South Philly for many years, but they kind of went away, because you had all the other big hitters, and you had Five Guys, and we got plenty of good joints in Philly. Looking forward, obviously, to stuffing your face when you get here. We're gonna have a good time. So hopefully, 2026 is we get a time frame set, and you come in here. We got to hit Joey's, and we got to hit Angelo's.
Always Angelo's.
We got plans, me and Nick. Yeah, we got plans. Yeah. We're gonna show you what true slobs we can be on camera.
Yeah, Joey will probably share our review of the cheesesteak.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been crawling around in my comments and throwing me a like. And my wife's like, "Is that the real skinny Joe?" I said, "Yeah, that's really Joey." I said he appreciates when people say good things about him. And
he's a man of the people.
Yeah, well, he doesn't appreciate when you got some bad shit to say about him. He'll let you know.
Oh yeah, if you're a rat or you're a hater, you're his worst enemy.
Oh man, I said I couldn't live without those videos, man. It's hysterical, freaking hysterical. All right, so wrap up question. I say let's ask you this one. Okay, favorite mob movie of all time. You go. What's it going to be?
It's got to be Goodfellas. That's probably one of the best mob movies ever. Because every now and then I'll watch it. You know, I grew up with that movie. Ray Liotta was so good. De Niro, Pesci. You know, it was perfectly casted, and I don't think there's gonna be another mob movie like it.
Billy Bats, the Shah of Iran, you know, Frank Vincent, he passed away. Let's see, Paul Sorvino passed away. Frank Vincent passed away. Still got Bobby D. Still, see, for me, Godfathers and Godfather 2 are you know, are so amazingly like well done and like ahead, I guess ahead of their time. But you know, when Scorsese does anything, it's like a perfect movie because you know, because he puts the music in with it too. Scorsese and the soundtracks and the music and the classic rock songs. And you know, he uses Rolling Stones. I'm a big Rolling Stones guy. I love like, you know, that whole to, you know, bringing the soundtrack together with the scenes that are happening, like De Niro smoking the cigarette in Goodfellas, and
it changes the whole scene. It changes the whole scene.
Oh my god, yeah, and so that turned into like the biggest meme used on all social media. It's like when I see my wife on her phone after she tells me not to be on my phone, and you're like, De Niro's like, hit a cigarette and staring at. That's the best.
Yeah, De Niro is a great actor. He's one of the best mob actors. Him and Pesci are the two best. Like anytime you put him in a mob movie, they're on point.
He can do anything. He really can do anything. Like if you've seen Cape Fear, he played like a Southern serial killer, like, you know, crazy Southern, you know, like, you know, crazy like child. You know, he can cover so much ground. So Goodfellas definitely a good choice. I said maybe I'm right. Goodfellas is just an inch like below like the Godfathers, but still one of the greatest.
Godfather's really good too.
And in terms of favorite line, either from Goodfellas or whatever mob movie dealt you the favorite line. Will you tell me what's your favorite line?
Yeah, probably go get your shine back, motherfucker. Keep him here.
Go home and get you a fucking shine box. Yep, that's the one.
Frank Vincent was really a good actor too, and The Sopranos too. And going back to what you said about Roy Rogers, the only reason I know that is because The Sopranos. Like, what about Stop at Roy Rogers? The Barons episode.
I forgot they did make a Roy Rogers quote in there in the episode. Yep,
that's the first thing I thought of.
I said, like, you know,
what's your favorite quote?
And I tell you, like Michael Corleone. Michael Corleone sitting at the table and telling Mo Green that you know, I'm gonna, you know, Corleone family wants to buy you out. He's like, Corleone, buy me out? No, I buy you out. And he's like, yeah. He's like, what you afraid? He's like, you smack my brother around? And he's like, what are you? He was banging cocktail waitresses just 2 at a time. He's like, you smack my brother around. Like him sitting there with that cigarette, just staring it down. I'm like, now Pacino's like, yay, big. But you said, you know, you're just like, oh, he was so intimidating and telling Mo Green, he's like, I'm taking your casino. And he's like, you're never gonna talk to my brother Fredo like that again. And yeah, just like that door closed at the end when Diane Keaton, God rest her soul, she just passed away. You know, as he's getting more or less getting sworn in as the new Godfather, and everybody's greeting him, and he just slowly closes that door, and it's like boom, like there you go, now he's the guy. You know, like just so many good moments and scenes, and James Caan has, you know, like, you know, watching him blown away. But like Pacino's just like quiet command of like that moment, like that's just one of my favorite scenes where it's, you know, he just hits it out the park. You know, like
that's probably our whole Instagram news feed is like those clips, because I get Godfather clips, Soprano clips, all on my view page on Instagram.
And the comical clips too of like Tony and Christopher and like all the edits that are done, but just the actual lines from the show, like Ginny Sack with the 90-pound Ginny Sack and a 90-pound on her ass.
Ralph Cifaretto, she was a
oh my god. He like one of the most well-written scumbags of all time, man.
Yeah, you know you're a good actor when people hate you.
Yes.
That's how you know you're a good actor.
And
But he was also funny as that.
yeah, he's done so many great different movies. And I said, who's your surname actor? Chef Artie Bucco shares the same last.
Oh yeah, Ventimiglia.
That's right.
Ventimiglia.
That's right. John Ventimiglia. Yep. I
John
said,
Ventimiglia, I believe his name
yep,
is.
John. Yep, John is his name, and yeah, he's another guy. Just like killed that role, and like tried to like kind of do the tough guy routine like that with Tony. Tony burns down the joint, and he finds out about it, and he
That
just
just came up on my, or I don't know if you sent it to me or it came up. I literally just saw that yesterday, where
yeah.
where he burns down
Yeah.
Artie Vesuvio.
Vesuvio. Yeah, I said I'd love to go to the whatever Vesuvio is one day, but it's a fictional joint, probably set somewhere in Middle New Jersey somewhere. So,
Yeah, there's a couple of Ventimiglias. There's a Milo Ventimiglia, but
oh
I'm not.
yeah, the kid who played Rocky's son, great actor.
Yeah, he was
Balboa.
also in the Fergie music video. I remember because my sister showed it to me years ago.
No, good.
Big Girls Don't Cry. He was
Oh,
in
no
that.
kidding. I didn't
But
even know. I said, it's been a minute since I've seen any videos, let alone that one. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I said, so he was what, like the love interest in that?
Yeah, like how the girl has the guy
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like a new LFO, Summer Girls.
Yeah, and shout out to Ventimiglia Realty. My dad's a realtor
Yeah.
out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw you wore that purposely. Yeah, I said we got it.
I
Yeah,
wore it yesterday at Stunaz. The name alone made me want to go. I'm like, Stunaz, like two Italian brothers own it. I'm like, I gotta stop there. The breaded steak was really good.
I hear you. I hear you. Like I said, there's that whole bread discussion we keep having to say. I wonder what Nick's bread is like in Chicago. And then I said, when you come here, you'll have the
That
seed.
Philly bread looks so fresh and good. Every time I see Snuff or Joey or where you send me, I see it looks so good.
Oh
It
yeah,
looks so good.
yeah. It's just a constant barrage of stuff, and you're like, all right, I got to take a ride over here, but I'm trying to keep these pounds down. And then you talk yourself out of it for about 10
It's a
minutes.
struggle.
And then you're in the car and you're driving down. You're like, I got to get this. So,
yeah, you're like, all right, no turning back.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I know we could talk about food forever, but we don't.
Hours, yeah.
Everybody will be like, yo, when did these two knuckleheads stop talking about
these two badasses?
Start talking about Postal again. But anyway, here's where we're gonna finish. We're gonna say first things first. Bear down. I hope Rome and company have a big game tonight. Let's go.
They're playing the Redskins or the Commanders. I always say the Redskins. Commanders.
Yeah, I still call them the Redskins.
And it's redemption because last year they lost on a Hail Mary play after they were bragging that they were winning, and then they lost in a Hail Mary. I'm like, they gotta get their one again. They gotta get their. They gotta win. They gotta win.
So I hope you get that W. Obviously, it was a rough week in the Philadelphia area.
Oh, the Phillies, man, but they had good seasons though. They had good
still flying the colors proudly there. But I just was like, man, I said that was just heartbreaking to see how that ball got airmailed, and it was just a moment of like that did not just happen. That happened like that, but. Now, I said Nicholas was upset, and I just said, hang in there, buddy. You got plenty more life in baseball to watch and plenty more disappointment in this town. So don't worry. We got some championships under our belt, though. So, all right. Well, I know you're headed out to enjoy your day and have a good time, whatever you do. Get back for the game in time, I'm sure. And
Thanks for having me out. We got to do this more. The Chooch and Nick hour. The Stunad hour.
The Stugats Philly and the Chooch. Yeah, we'll figure out some kind of catchy title for it. So it was great. I think everything worked out good here using Zoom, and like I said, we'll try and make a habit. We'll even bring that punk JH in if he has time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, special guest, celebrity guest, Jay.
Yes, great. Hey, he said we always send quick props to Jay. He started this all. Don't let anybody tell you any different.
Yeah, he shared me when I first started. I had no subscribers. He shared me. I was like, "Who's this guy?" Like, he has a lot. He has all these subscribers, and he's sharing me like that. He's a real one for sure.
Yeah, it does work. When he clicks that button to link up, it certainly works, and more eyes get on here, and it's great, And he gives that push. He gives that push, and that helps. So, all right, Leia, let's see that fresh fade one more time. Turn the head. Look at that. See that?
Yeah, Manny. Shout out to Manny Blends, my barber.
45-year-old Mrs. Chooch fade, and 31-year-old better fade.
No, Italians always care about their hair.
I'm hanging in there, brother. I'm hanging in there.
Chooch does a great job. Chooch does a good job.
Dude, appreciate it. Enjoy. Like I said, enjoy. Like and subscribe. Check out Mailman Nick. Mailman Nick on Instagram. Follow.
I'm meant for the algorithm.
I am Chooch Abs on Instagram. That's a CHOOCHABBZ on Instagram, and obviously your Chooch on YouTube. So much appreciated, and we'll be talking again. All right, I'm gonna hit that button, Nick. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me, Chooch.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. And